Welcome to the Queen Divas, Queens of Fitness podcast. Join your hosts, three-time WBFF world champions and WBFF royalty, Alicia Gowans and Stephanie Ayala McHugh, as we explore all things female health, training, competing, mindset, and living the fitness life every day.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of the Queen Divas podcast with my beautiful co-host, Stephanie Ayala McHugh.
Hello, everyone. And oh my gosh, guys, it's episode 51. I was just reflecting on that. We've actually been doing 51
Just halfway over to 100.
Halfway through. I thought that was actually pretty cool when I was just making my notes for today's, topic, which is a fun one, Allie. I think this is so relatable to everybody.
So for everyone listening, I guess, you've heard us talk about everything health and wellness, and that is 100% what we endeavor to bring to you each week. But today we're sort of just talking through the topic of, and I guess it came about like this. For everyone listening to this, actually, by the way, forgive me, I'm probably going to be a little slow at some point, because I'm jet lagged. We only just literally landed, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half ago. Straight out my desk, straight into work, and straight into podcast recording.
Well, I love your commitment.
Oh my God, right? I'm committed to you, babe.
I love it.
Everyone that listens.
I love it. She's committed to all of us, y'all. Anyone that's listening, she's committed.
This was on the back end of, obviously, our travel across to Orlando for the Orlando Pro-Am. And the fact that, I made it a point to actually plan and do a off-season shoot. So I had
so much fun.
Yeah. And I had I'm going to throw this out there. I've done them, and I have done them periodically over the course of the last, decade, but I have not religiously done them with dedicated focus every single season. Right. And largely I'm going to put it down to the fact that, hey, I just get really busy, and if it's not sort of leading into a stage and I don't deem it to be super imperative to that point in my journey, I've just put it on the back burner. And then I think second to this, and I did a post about this, and this is one of the reasons why I said to Steph, maybe we should discuss this today, because the engagement and actually the feedback I got from my post was incredibly overwhelming, to be quite honest. And my post was literally, I was thinking about it as I was doing the shoot, right? And when I got back to the condo, I thought, man, I probably should actually share these thoughts, because I think that this is actually a real thing. And it's because I have so many athletes that will be going through, off seasons, and you'll have it too, Steph. And they literally freak out at the scale going up. They freak out about feeling uncomfortable. They get to a point where then, they're really good and they're on board and they want the glutes and they want the legs. But then the minute they start feeling tight in their waistbands, or they've got to go up a dress size, or a pant size, they are, oh my God, I've got a mini cut and I've got to diet. I've got to diet. I feel fat. I feel uncomfortable. I don't want to go out. I don't have anything to wear. They start all these conversations. And I thought to myself, when I was in this shoot, I actually felt freaking incredible. And this is the heaviest I have ever been ever in my life. And I feel freaking amazing, right?
Well, Allie, I just saw you. You look amazing. I'm happy to hear that you feel amazing.
Yeah, I do.
Incredible, especially for being postpartum and post-show, having to, of course, just add a little bit more size and mass onto your body. You're still doing that very, very beautifully. And your shapes are there. Your glutes are definitely coming up, right? Which is, you can see that that's an area of focus. And
I don't feel
the curves, which is what I love about the
and I don't feel sloppy. And I guess I kind of leaned into it. And at the time I was thinking to myself, probably 8 years ago, it would have been a very different dialogue with myself and in that moment. And I didn't have any of that hesitation or worry. I didn't go into the shoot thinking, oh, I better diet or run like a little mini peak week for my shoot. I didn't do any of that shit. I was like, I'm turning up on the day with what I got. It is what it is. And I'm just going to own it. Right. And I actually had so much fun, and it was incredibly liberating. And I walked away from it going, man, I wish all women could feel this. Right. And then I had to actually take a little bit of ownership and think to myself, well, shit, you know what? I'm not contributing by not doing this more often and sharing it. I'm not adding to the issue, but I'm not helping the issue either. So I actually did my post because I was like, you know what? I have had that a little voice in the back of my head where I'm like, if I'm not looking like the world champion all the time, 24/7, then I shouldn't be posting it, or I shouldn't be putting it out there, or the brand doesn't want to see me in my off season. They're only interested when I'm on stage at my best, right? And that's not actually fair. That's just a narrative that I've given myself at some point, wherever the pressures come from at some point. And, you know, it made me think, well, shit, if I've got women following me and they do by any chance look up to me in some way, then I should do the right thing and actually voice that, hey, me too, at some point I've had those issues, but also, hey, I don't anymore, and embracing it, and then me embracing it and sharing it, I think hopefully might help others to do the same, right?
Oh, of course. And I love how you're touching base on maybe that struggle that you had in the past, and maybe just weren't aware you were really dealing with that, right?
Like, no, exactly. I wasn't. This is the fun part.
Right? Like, this is where I'm noticing here as that outsider, right? Because I do push myself to go into those shoots, but it's you nailed it with just the narrative we tell ourselves. We expect to look a certain way, and we just think like, oh, we have to like only turn up in front of the camera when
you in your off season. If I look like you in your off season at all my off seasons, man, Kerry, I'd walk around naked. Sorry, bro, but I'd be out I'd be in the main street naked. I'd be shopping naked. I'd be going to the gym naked. Like, you don't have anything on you at any point of time ever. You just go from perfect to like exceptionally perfect for stage. There is like no shit season for Steph. There's no Steph is shit, Steph is small, Steph is fluffy. There's just Steph's epic, and then there's Steph is ridiculously epic, and then there is no one's ever going to come close to Steph. Like, it's like they're your shades, babe. Like, they're your phases.
Oh my God, I can't. I love you. I can't with your amazing kind words and commentary here. But what I'm trying to say, babe, here is like, of course, everyone's off season is going to look a little different, right? Like we've all, you know, of course, had to go through maybe our, you know, fluffier sides, which I definitely still relate to in the past. I think now my maintenance phase, or even going into a building phase, it's kind of, and we'll touch into that. I feel like in a separate episode, we'll definitely dive in, because I feel like this is something going around that people expect to do during a build. And it took me quite a few years to get there, right? To be able to reverse into keeping that condition, or keeping some level of, you know, of course, a little bit more muscle tone, which is different, you know, per person. We just hold our body fat a little differently in different muscle groups. But going back into, you know, that off-season look, we just have that big voice in our head, and it's actually not small. We think it's small, but it's a big voice. Nah, don't do that shoot. Like, you're not ready, you're not in shape, it's not gonna look good. So why do we put effort into it? And like you had said, you didn't prioritize it, you put it on the back burner. It wasn't really something you really cared to do because you didn't feel good about it. You weren't confident, right?
And I think probably because I was looking at it from the purpose that, you know, when I'm going to do something, like you guys, anyone listening to this knows my content and my page is really organic, and I don't use filters, and I'm never wearing makeup, and it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just not an orchestrated highlight reel in my page. So for me, doing professional shoots to layer a page full of these professional, unattainable images has just never made sense to me to start with, right? But secondly, correct. And it just hasn't really fit me or my brand. But then when I have done them, it's been because it's had actual purpose leading into a show. And it's been about, it's been about the journey through to the stage, or it's actually, for me, the main reason I do it, for everyone that, you know, wants to know something of interest, I actually shoot because it gives me the strategy of analyzing my angles. So I actually utilize them as a temperature gauge for where my physique is sitting. And as I'm coming into stage, I use them heavily actually to correct, adjust, or finesse my posing routine for stage. So that's why I do them. And then when I'm like in a real big off season, I'm like, well, I'm not going near stage. It's not a priority, right? And then I think I did go through those couple of years where I was like, it's probably, like they don't want to see that from me at this
unnecessary point. We just kind of push ourselves away into this corner thinking, who wants to see me here now in this shape? I don't really, have that motivation to get in front of the camera. And yes, so relatable. And I'm sure so many women listening to this are like, oh, that's me. I totally feel that, not in that stage where I feel comfortable enough to do it. But let me tell you, you need to book that shoot. You need to get in front of moments, because you're going to have some sense of even structure to achieve even. And again, it doesn't mean that you're going to have to get to a look. Okay. It just means that you're going to just know, okay, I'm a little more meticulous in my day-to-day. Alicia's comfortable right now with her strategy, which she's living 100%. Her lifestyle. She trains hard. She eats wholesome foods. She is very mindful of her activity from day to day, whether if that's from cardio base or if that's, from her step count. So she's very well aware that she's going to look good for it because she's maintaining such a good shape at the time. But that doesn't mean that she's 100% comfortable in the stage that she's at thinking camera ready. I'm like,
you know what it is? You know what it is? Actually, the only time, and this is truth, the only time where I'm like, oh my God, I am thick is when I've got to go into, I have a walk-in wardrobe that is literally the WBFF wardrobe, right? So it's like all the gowns and it's the shoes and it's the crowns and it's just for this. So, and I literally have layers in it that are ridiculously lean, semi-lean, about 12 weeks out, and then everything else.
Off season. Oh, yeah.
Then I feel when I actually get a moment where I'm like, oh wow. I've gotten to that point is when I go in and I don't have a single gown that fits me, or I can't get it over my ass, or I get it over, and then I've got Jacinta trying to pull everything together to zip it up, and I'm like, okay, this isn't fucking going on.
And then you have those, and I love that you're bringing up the wardrobe, because this is so necessary, and this is going to be something I was going to lead into about the shoot. Besides booking it and just getting yourself, ripping that Band-Aid and just freaking doing it, because you're going to be so empowered and feel so damn freaking amazing afterwards. Yes, you'll pick yourself apart in some areas, but trust me, it's way more about like, wow, I didn't actually expect myself to look that way. I actually look better than I thought. I feel better. This is fun. It really does become a practice game. I love where Ali mentioned, using this as a tool, to really just learn your angles, learn what works for you. And I state this more than anything, use photo shoots as that practice game. Test out those makeup looks, test out the fashion looks, test out your posing, test out what you're going to essentially do on stage to not have to do it on stage as a trial.
What I think you just hit the nail on the head of too, right, is that make them fully fashion orientated, because that's literally what I've done. So the last two shoots, I did one here. I was actually meant to have done a second one.
I love that one.
With my blue suit.
Studio. Oh,
yeah. So, and we did some really cool looks for that, and really different. So I made a commitment to 2023. There were several things that I did. I actually did a post of it on my timeline. And one of the things that I did commit to, and it came about because Jacinta has always done this. She has always rocked around any time of the year in her on season, off season, carrying weight, stupid skinny. She always rocks around in her crop top and shorts, crop top and pants. She's always got a midriff showing, right? And I've always looked at her and been like, fuck, you're ballsy, babe. I've never done it, right? Never, ever have I ever, even when I'm at my leanest, just rocked into the gym wearing a crop top and shorts. Never, ever. I always have.
I think that's just, right? I think it's more of a traditional thing, to be honest, though.
Possibly.
I think growing up, to me, it was actually something more shunned upon. Like, you don't wear a crop top kind of thing, showing your belly. And I don't know, I just
might be right.
I feel like that was almost drilled in my head. And I used to work at the gym, right? Like at a young age, and just going into like my first few years in the industry. And man, that was one of the things that you would always notice the girl without the, a full shirt. Yeah. And she was that girl. And I don't know what it was about like being like singled out that I absolutely hated it. That it was just like, nope, there goes a t-shirt. Here goes the cover up.
So that, and that's always been me. And it might possibly be part of that for me. I've never really sort of sat down and analyzed it, other than the fact that I just never ever did it, right? And I admired her for it, because I was like, man, dude, that's like a whole nother level of like just confidence, super comfort and confidence in yourself, right? And so I turned around and I was like, that's it, screw it. After this pregnancy, I'm doing it. I'm gonna commit to it, and I'm gonna freaking wear the boob tubes only. I'm going to wear the crop tops only. I'm going to
love it.
rock a midsection even when I'm chubby, and I'm going to do it. So I have done that this year. And my second thing, which was another part of that, was I'm actually going to take frequent photo shoots, and I'm actually going to channel completely different looks and step outside the box and do things that I hadn't ever done before, because I've always had a signature look, right? And so I want to challenge that now. So we have been playing with cool makeup looks. And, you know, this is a girl that never wears makeup at all, ever, unless it's put on for a show. So we're doing cool shit that's outside the box. We're also doing, you know, obviously completely different looks and styles. And I'm here for it. So I had so much fun doing this shoot where we did the bold blue makeup. I had, you know, so much fun doing another makeover day that we did for just different looks. And then we were meant to do another shoot, and Bubby was sick, so I couldn't make it. So I would have been 3 off-season shoots deep by now, which was more than I would have ever done in a single year in an off-season. And I've still got the whole, you know, year to go leading into and out of the other end of the stage. So I've got more planned. But the one I actually had in Orlando with Max was epic. And she had me do the most outlandish outfits, man. Like, and
how epic though. Like, to be honest, like, to me, that's what it's all about. Like the fashion aspect and really challenging, I guess, the elements when it comes down to the posing, and then you learn more about yourself, and you really honestly put yourself in a position of having to test and max out, right? Some of like the things that you can do. And like Ali had said about maybe some different looks and maybe doing those trials and figuring out, man, that's super edgy, man, that worked. Or next time I'll like maybe lay off on certain things. Like, not so, like for me, I will say I've like played around with some, you know, fierce and edgy looks, and man, when they go heavy on that contour, let me tell you, it messes up my whole photo shoot, because it ends up being where the whole set is just cheek. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, it is just like, girl, I can slice you. I can totally, you know, I can totally get you with my cheekbone. But it's because, again, you learn makeup looks and things that I already have, and you as well, Ali, we have higher cheek profiles. We carry, you know, a higher cheekbone. So when they go heavy on that edge of our line of our cheek with the contour, oh man, like I said, it disappears. It's just like an actual line of top, right? Yeah. So again, we learn and we end up finding things that work and don't work for us with the makeup, or as well as like even fashion, not just fashion looks, because all fashion can be super sexy and super edgy as well as super cool. It's just about who wears it and how you wear it, right? And what I mean by it's just about the way you position yourself. I think that's, we can all attest to like the fashion.
100%. Definitely.
The way they angle their body and like are flexible enough. Because man, I've seen some models that they're able to be super flexible, but they can't walk for crap. Oh my gosh, don't put them in front of a runway, because they will flop around and walk, honestly, like they will. And this is sad, but that is actually some things that you will notice if it's not video, which is another thing I do encourage, is like, yes, still photos are amazing, but now the world is evolving. Even the WFF is evolving to more of that fashion, even, you know, kind of runway type of look. So doing photo and video shoots, I think that's another way to kind of really learn how to really transition. I think the transitioning from, you know, and it
is cool, because you really do learn some different things. And look, you know, one of the things that I definitely noticed with both of the ones I've done so far, and even the one that I'm planning next, I'm actually going to do one with Toby while we're at the Peak Week House at the GC this week coming. And again, we're going to channel a couple of really different, edgier style glam shoots. So, you know, it's using really abstract things. Like, we had this really cute but very couture type dress that I was wearing that was super short with this big boss belt with this bow tie and these big latex gloves. It was very cool. So it's like, get out and do the things. What I would 100% encourage people to do is challenge yourself to do something that is so outside the box, and put together clothing and looks that you would probably potentially never even wear or choose in your day-to-day, because that's where you actually get some really epic, alternate, diverse marketing capacity. And, you know, look, for anyone listening to this that's with the WBFF, that's actually what it's all about, you know, and it's not just about bringing a diverse and new look to the stage every time. It's getting the confidence to channel those alter egos and those different avatars. And that was one of the main areas for me to focus on in challenging myself in this way, was I was then going to channel that to the stage. So, you know, coming back after 3 years off, it's important to be doing it again.
No, I can't agree even more with you, Ali. And I was going to mention that the best thing about doing a fashion oriented shoot around your off season is that you're not really showcasing your body.
No,
you're
you're
modeling.
not.
You're really trying to learn the camera, learn the angles, learn how to actually facially express yourself. And I think that's another thing that so many people leave kind of like on the back burner, as well as like just still photos, and even there to not translating into a mood, and really being able to perceive a storytelling behind it. And I think that that's another powerful thing when it comes down to just any type of shooting, and the way you try to look at these looks as, okay, how do I use a one piece? I don't have to show abs. I don't have to be a bodysuit.
100%, like using like a bodysuit and stuff. And then just how you actually angle your arms and where you put your hand, and the placement of your elbow can completely taper in your waistline.
All
of
it.
You haven't got necessarily.
Or a belt, like you said, like you were mentioning belt, when I was like, there's a cincher, right? We always think of, like, I use belts so much. Thigh high boots, cover your legs. Because we're not looking about, you know, trying to see all the calf muscles and stuff. We're trying to like really put the look together. And that means maybe some thigh high boots, maybe even some leggings that are going to be cool and edgy. There's so many like different type of stockings that look amazing on certain looks underneath. I love thinking of layers. The more you layer, the better. So there goes the bodysuit with the belt and maybe a blazer jacket or some type of cool jeans. Denim,
you gloves, you can use hats, hats, chunky jewelry. Like there's so many options, right? And then it's like, what are you going for? You're going for something that's fun and flirty. You're going for something that's boss babe. You're going for something that's edgy. You're going for something that's fierce. It's that you got all these different, as Steph said, actually, great way to term it is moods that you could be channeling, right? So I definitely think everyone needs to do this. And I definitely think that the more that you get into it and then you start to find your groove with it, and I would say this too, stop trying to be sexy all the time. It doesn't have to be about you being fucking sexy. And, you know, I get really tired of seeing the exact same photos and the exact same poses with the almost very similar outfits on every darn person in the fitness industry. I'm like, wow, can we get a little bit of originality? Like seriously, take a moment to find what suits you and create your own damn vibe. Create something that everyone else wants to emulate and replicate versus just
be the trend, set that
be
trend.
The trendsetter, not follow the trend, right? I agree with that.
It doesn't mean you can't take inspirations. Absolutely use them as, you know, areas for you to maybe put some outfits together. I use, you know, of course, some other sets as like inspos. I'll put a little bulletin board together when I'm at, you know, at shopping or I'm looking online. I'm really just looking at that for the items. But at the end of the day, you're going to wear it differently. It's going to look completely different on you. Don't think that just because you ordered the whole set, it's going to look exactly like that on you. And the model is different.
How many times have you looked at like a pose and gone, oh, I really love that, I'd love to do that, but then it just does not suit you, and you're like, okay.
But that's actually a good point too, that I would make another bulletin board if you haven't done this. These are some of my recommendations just for anyone shooting in general. If you haven't already, tried putting together a little pin board of your actual angles and poses you want to be doing and trying, rather than trying to figure it out on your own or just freestyling. Unless you're already experienced, I don't recommend to freestyle unless the photographer is going to be directing you the whole time.
You've got a good photographer.
You won't need to be, you know, obviously needing to bring up some of the poses and here, hey, can we try this and that? But if you're collabing or even just kind of be a beginner and you're, you know, wanting to really test out some, you know, poses, have them already put together as far as what you're trying to test. along with the looks, right? You already probably did this leading into the shoot anyways, so prior to already knowing your poses, but definitely, like Ali said, selecting your vibe, your mood. What look do you want to go after? Is it boho, you know, with a little hippie vibe, you know, or are you trying to go with more retro? You know, are you trying to go with a little bit more sporty spice and have like throwback? I mean, what are you trying to do? A pinup look? Are you trying to go with maybe a little bit of a biker, edgy
Oh my God.
feel? I love those.
I have a very cool shoot we're gonna do with Dennis and Tess again.
Oh, he's edgy.
Yeah.
Oh, she's an incredible stylist.
We came up with it actually because I was in the makeup chair and I had my hair done, and it was actually my hair that channeled it. And then we went, oh my God. And even Dennis was like, I love this look. And I went, well, how about we do this? And I've explained it to him and he's like, oh, fuck yes. So now we've got this massive mad, and you just reminded me of it when you said retro, because it has an element of retro in it. And it's very cool. So I'm super excited for it. And then we're doing something fun with some candy. This is what I mean. You can literally use different props, different locations, different backdrops. You can have completely different themes.
So much fun to
make
it an actual, again, story, and make whoever's looking at your image or whoever's looking at your video feel something. And I think and I know we're kind of leading into more of the depth of the shoot here, but I hope you've already been convinced to shoot already. All right. So we're giving you some nice tips and giving you, of course, kind of a direction. And of course, just from us that have been in the experience of shooting with so many various photographers and so many different styles. So linking up, of course, first of all, with your photographers, they may not carry that style, or maybe that's just not the looks that they really achieve. You have to kind of be realistic here. Am I going to be shooting with boudoir? Then you're probably not going to be getting a lifestyle, right? But if you're going to be, you know, obviously shooting with a lifestyle, you probably shouldn't show up in a boudoir type of, you know, setting and lingerie.
And I think too, you just hit the nail on the head. Do your research around the photographers as well, and make sure that you know you're channeling the right look or the right flavor for the person you're about to work with, because having that fit is going to make sure that they bring out the best in you and make you feel completely comfortable. If you might have a bit of a moment about how you're sitting physically, or you know, you're comparing yourself to a previous physique. And I guess, look, the point for me about why this was important, and I think it is important, and I really do encourage everyone to start doing it if they're not already, is the fact that it does get you to a happy place and quite a joyful place with your physique as it sits right now. Because if you don't have acceptance of your physique in a growth phase, then what makes you think all of a sudden you're going to be happy when you're diced as shit, unhealthy, and feeling ridiculously hungry all the time? You're not. And then you can't sustain and maintain that. So what, you think you're going to be happy for literally 3 weeks of the year? That's pretty depressing. You know, like I think
you got to celebrate these areas, and I can't freaking agree with you more, Ali. You hit it there. Gosh, like I think we don't even see ourselves because we don't allow ourselves to be seen. Like, how often do we really dress up, you know, to take pictures in our off season? We don't feel good. We don't feel good about ourselves, or we just don't feel comfortable enough to do that. And I think this just pushes us, and we will be wowed. I know I've been wowed multiple times. And yeah, there is some of that attachment of thinking maybe others don't want to see this, or maybe I shouldn't share this, or maybe I don't want to, you know, expose myself this way. And you know what? That's okay. Do it for yourself first. Above all, if you could do this for you to just break kind of the chain of thinking, just get it done and actually do it. And even just for your own self, because I will say that was kind of my first chain. I just needed to do it for myself and know that I was able to do it, and finally kind of open my lens and thinking it wasn't so bad. Okay, I didn't look so bad, you know. I'm a little more graceful.
You didn't look bad in a bloody potato sack. Jesus Christ.
So, but you know, those mental chains that I'm referring to, right? 100%. They're making you feel prisoned to think like this is the only way to think, and you're breaking them slowly. You're breaking free, and then you're realizing, okay, I post the damn photo, and who cares, right? Like then you're going to start putting yourself out there and actually trying to maybe inspire others to.
You know, I actually have actively gone on the pursuit of following people that are real and that post really real photos, and they don't post everything that comes off of a camera lens only, that
Or
is
raw.
edited or filtered, or you know what I mean? Like if that's
Mm-hmm.
all I'm getting in something, I unfollow it. I'm like, I'm done. See you later. I'm out.
No,
That's not
it's not
real.
appealing
It's not,
anymore.
no,
Yeah, it looks like a
exactly.
magazine. It looks like
If I see a
airbrush.
chick
Your skin
posting
look
her off season and she's like in her bikini doing her check-in at 20 weeks out, and she's probably sitting a good
respect.
6 pounds heavier than she normally even does at that point, because she's actually seriously pushed her off season. I'm like, damn girl, I'm here for you. And then I follow hard. And then
It's
I
like
start tracking the
that
progress,
moment.
and I'm the big hype girl on the sideline, because to me, that's actually who people should be following.
Real.
Yep, exactly. The people that are actually turning up and doing the thing and challenging themselves and not hiding and not, failing to be real about the entire thing. And the ones that get on and they do their photos, but they're all in posed angles, I'm like, again, unfollow, check out. Just stand straight.
And some people know their angles so good, Allie, and that's one thing that does cringe at me, because some people just believe. I know how to tell, but again, I'm experienced with being able to look at poses and look at that individual, how they're standing, how they're flexing, kind of, are they tense, are they a little bit more, posed or not? And man, I can call it, but most people will not be able to. And it's just frustrating, because then they'll be like, oh, I need to look like that. My abs need to look like that. I'm like, they don't walk around like that, y'all. They have to literally take that photo 100 times, flex probably 50% of the time they're taking those photos, and probably sit there and probably color correct and maybe even skin brush. And gosh, all this Facetune crap that people use.
People have the time to do this shit.
I just can't, it's ridiculous. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I don't even care for like photo shoot type of editing. I think that's like necessary for some photographers, because they're brand. 100%. That's what they represent. They like do things 100%. To the skin, and they do things, to the background and whatnot, but no freaking body correcting and, trying to add abs or trying to, make glutes where there's no glutes and all this extra crazy stuff that these apps can do. But of course, that the photographer wouldn't do unless they ask the model, because there are some models, let me tell you, I'm in the room when they ask, please make my butt bigger, please make oh, I'm not kidding. And this is, I'm like, you better not. And I swear I always say that to the photographer, because I'm like, that is like, that's deceiving people. Like, then the person expects.
Yeah, I'd also be super upset with that, because that'd be my one photo that made me look like J-Lo, and everything else I look like fucking pancake sissy.
I don't know why women want this, but they do. So I'm like, I think it's because they want to pretend that that's them, and I just don't get it. I honestly don't get it. Don't be that girl. Don't get obsessed with the physique that is not yours. Embrace your freaking physique at all stages. Get in front of the lens. If you haven't yet in an off season, I hope that we've been able to encourage you to just get in front of the camera.
Yeah, I hope so too.
You don't have to do it in like a.
And I hope not even just to do the damn shoot or to wear the damn crop top and wear the damn booty shorts, but beyond that, share it all. Be the real person on social media. Be the real person that turns up for the people that follow you, and actually, be a bit of a beacon for other women that might be struggling to feel better about their current situation, right? Because I just think it's super important. And I think that we don't realize sometimes the influence and the impact that we might actually have. And it's something that you should probably think about, because even if you're only impacting one person, that's still the impact in the wrong way. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's important. And that's the other thing I struggle with. I can't follow anyone. And I know I've talked about it before, but there are a couple of people where I'm like, I seriously worry about their mental health when they're constantly posting week to week about, scale changes, millimeters going up, and they're in an off season. It should not be your focus. Like, you should be like, am I lifting boss ass big bitch, weights? Am I feeling good? Am I sleeping well? Is my hunger where it should be? Like, it's just a completely different platform of the things you should be analyzing. And I think if again, a feed is not helping you in a positive way with how you feel about yourself, get off of it, get it out of your feed, don't follow it, and then start to be feeding your feed with stuff that is, self-acceptance, because I think it's super important.
Oh man, self-acceptance is honestly the biggest form of true love. Self-love. And I think that we have to accept ourselves before just honestly, truly being able to put ourselves out there, because in otherwise we're subjected to everyone's opinion and then believing that. And I think the biggest, most powerful thing here is, I mean, we let other people's opinions of those little voices or big voices in some of us heads dictate what not to do and dictate what the outcome of the future is here, which is, nope, I'm not going to feel good after that shoot, right? Nope, not going to do that because like not wear the crop top because I'm going to get the looks. I'm going to be that girl, you know, like don't think of what the, you know, predicted negative outcome we tell ourselves is going to be. We've got to honestly break those chains and I guess rewrite all of our narratives. I mean, we're all still doing it together. I mean, Allie,
100%.
you, I think, overcame an incredible barrier that you didn't even realize.
I didn't,
you're like,
I hadn't really thought about it until it was actually going through my IVF, my pregnancy journey, right? When you just feel like an absolute whale. And it was just like, because I'm sitting next to her every day. I see her every day and I'm like, damn girl, you always look so good. And you're always wearing like nothing. You're always showing me all your bits. I love it.
All of it.
And then I just remember feeling that moment of, fuck, I really want her. I really want to feel like she does. Like I really want her level of, I don't really care. I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care what anyone says. I feel good about me. I like dressing like this. It feels good. And I'm going to do it anyway. And I was like, wow, I need to be like that. Yeah, it's really empowering. Is. Anyway, all I can say is that I actually do feel comfortable doing it now. And I haven't had a single day where I've put something on and felt like I shouldn't be wearing it. And I'll give Rachel Dillon a little plug here. I always wear Bombshell, have worn Bombshell and Aloe Yoga. I live and die in them. I do not buy all the other gimmicky, influency brands on the market. I'm just not about it. But Rachel's, I bought Rachel a set of Rachel's like boob tube crop top with the little V taper pant. Oh my God, they're amazing. And they're so flattering. And you can
have to get myself a set. Hey, Rachel.
Dress it up with a blazer over the top to wear it as like leisure wear or literally wear it and train. I have gone on to buy 3 outfits of hers and I wear all of them with no shirt on top whatsoever. And I feel great in them. So I'm a big advocate that if you want to do something like that, maybe find something that you go, oh, I'm loving this. I'm vibing it. I'm feeling myself big time.
Different sizes, y'all. Remember, we're in different seasons. We're not just one size.
Feel like
don't label yourself. Don't put one label of a clothing, be like, oh no, I'm too big. Oh no, I'm a medium. Oh no, I'm a large. Y'all, this is literally our body. It's going to fluctuate. You need to honestly have so much grace with it. And if you understand your stages, like Allie even mentioned the wardrobe, I do the same thing. I've got a shredding type of wardrobe,
3 different sizes,
building type of wardrobe. It's like there is really just hard to decipher sometimes. I'm like, but it's cold. And I'm like, gosh, I'm cutting this time, so I think I'll pull out some different things that really honestly just fit really big. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm in the wrong season. So it's okay. Like just make sure you don't let clothes label you. You add some new stuff, obviously to the collection, something that makes you feel comfortable. If it makes you feel fat, get something bigger. Honestly, or obviously get a bigger size,
get a different cut, wear a different style, right?
Different brand. Maybe it's the brand. So I love that you brought that up because it's so true.
Because it was something for me, and when I found them and put them on, I was like, oh wow, I'm digging this.
They like so you feel
I
good.
I literally flog her stuff now. So Crop Shop Boutique, for anyone that's. And most people listening to this have probably bought her stuff.
I was going to say, Allie, I'm pretty sure. I think she just had like a tour out here to the US.
I'm telling you now, she's been live for a while. And I've actually always looked at her stuff and thought, oh, you know what? If I'm ever going to actually buy something, it'll probably be hers. I'll give it a go. And I bought the one outfit just to test the water and went, oh man.
Well, I love it. Yeah, you've got the first-hand experience right there for a customer. That's awesome. So I'm actually going to have to try it just because of that feedback right there.
Stuff is amazing.
You know how it is. Like it's more of a word of mouth. And of course, the girls that are probably listening to this are like, duh, have you taken this long to try?
And look, there are a lot of brands that are quite popular.
Yeah, there's so many brands, y'all. So it's just
for me,
whatever you love,
stylish.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but she's definitely trendy. She definitely is a trendsetter. So I'm sure anyone that has already seen her outfits, like they're always on point. So I agree with you. I'll definitely get that a go. And anyone else that maybe wants to share some new actual brands that they're in love with, I would love to hear because that's like that. I'm looking
Always
into
down.
a little bit more attire. I think it's a neat time for a new collection. So, and it's always fun to shop. You guys already know me.
You're a shopaholic.
So,
From now on, I'm going to be like, I need new shoot outfits. Where am I going, Steph? And I'll just hit you up because I'll get a laundry list as long as my arm.
See my closet. It's ridiculous, honestly, which is bad when people don't know this, but I actually have made like half my house a closet.
Oh my God.
It's like literally like a 3-bedroom type
That
of
is
like
so funny.
all of it is just clothes and shoes and hats and bags and everything I would need essentially to travel or shoot. Yeah, it's needed because I can't see half my stuff. So whenever I'm like piling it in, boxes and things for the shoot, I'm like, I don't remember what I got. So I have to like try to get it displayed, kind of like a little mini boutique or store. So yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. So if you do need some help with some maybe fashion styling, I would recommend Tessa. She's incredible. She's actually
amazing.
Dennis Cruz's wife. I believe I would be under Tessa Cruz. I'm not exactly sure about her handle, but she's incredible stylist. Max was awesome.
Max was awesome.
Incredible stylist as well.
She was fantastic.
I think that she has been just super killing all those vibes with the WFF she's been doing. And she does her own stuff, I think, with her photo shoots as well. And she's like traveling and all that kind of stuff. And if you guys ever need recommendations with photographers, Ali and I both have worked with numerous incredible, amazing photographers. I would rather give the safety and recommendation of the ones that we recommend and refer, because there are some sleazy and bad photographers there.
And
so
even just, looking at ones for where you might be too. So, I've got a list of the ones that I love best in Australia, and then we've got the ones that we use overseas. So definitely keen to help. But I just hope that all of you go out and book a goddamn shoot.
Yeah, do the damn shoot, y'all. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode. And like always, thank you guys for listening. And Ali, it's really so good to see you.
It was so good to see you. I can't wait. It's going to be too long between now and Worlds, but we get more time soon.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys later and talk to you later, Ali. Love you.
Have a good week.
Bye. You too. Bye.
Thanks, babe.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Queen Divas, Queens of Fitness podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Queen Divas Pod, on Twitter at Queen Divas 4, and follow our hosts on Instagram, Alicia at Alicia Gowans _WBFF Pro, and Steph at Stephanie Ayala 7. See you all next week.